Hola, ¿cómo están? And what is going on, guys? DarkScheme here, back from my weekend hiatus at the Halo World Championship Finals. And for those that don't know, I was not doing daily videos for this weekend because I was in Hollywood, California, watching the finals. And I have to say it was a ton of fun. This was actually my first Halo event ever, and for it to be my first, I think it was really cool to see so much Halo, and I ended up watching almost every single series there from Friday to Sunday, so it was a ton of fun. And I'm kind of just going to give you guys a little bit of my experience with the event because it was a pretty great experience, but definitely some things that I think that they need to work on. So to start off, this event at this venue, at this location, Hollywood, California, I feel as if this venue was not their first choice, and because of those reasons, the venue that they had the finals at was different. It was definitely small, and there seemed to be some background things that happened, which kind of forced them to move the location of the World Finals. And for those that don't know, there was some sort of glitch when purchasing tickets on the website for the World Finals that showed the finals at a different location. And the chances are that Hollywood was not their first choice, I think, is pretty high. I think their first choice ended up falling through, and because of these reasons, they had to relocate. And that is also the reason why the location announcement for the finals took so long to be released. But like I said, either way, I had a great time. So first off, to talk about the venue, once again, it was small for how big of a deal the Halo World Championship Finals were. But it did have a decent amount of seats, a ton of standing areas if seats were filled up or if you wanted to watch the secondary stage matches as well. And that's a big deal too, is that they were able to fit 2 stages ongoing for both Friday and Saturday, main stage and secondary stage, and it was actually pretty great to have them running 2 streams. And I think they did have a few issues with the secondary stream on Saturday, but I did not watch the stream, so if those who watched the stream had issues, I'd like to know what happened, what went on, because I had a great experience, and for people watching at home, I know there was a ton of people watching, so to have a kind of experience where they couldn't watch certain games is kind of crappy. To continue on with the venue, they also had a small outdoor area for food, drinks, and extra bathrooms for those who needed them. And the food was provided via a food truck, and each day was different as far as what food truck you had. And for the most part, first day I ended up not getting food. I wasn't too hungry the first day. Second day I got some food, and it was actually pretty good. And I think for the most part, if you're going to have a food truck at your venue, it has to be great. So for them to have the food trucks and have it be good food was a nice thing to have. And like I said earlier, and I am going to really repeat this part a lot, even though the venue was small, I enjoyed being there a ton. Because the area was small, for the most part, you would actually end up sitting next to a ton of pro players and casters most of the time. So it was a really cool feeling being able to interact with them in a kind of like casual environment where there wasn't, a lot of people around, but at the same time not being stopped by other people. So it was really great to kind of have that feeling. I think at one point I was watching some games on Friday, and the members of CLG were sitting behind me, so I would kind of peer over and kind of see them over my shoulder, and it was funny because they would kind of, you could kind of just hear their interactions. They were watching games and reacting with everybody else in the audience, so it was cool to see and have that experience because it not only made it easier to talk to the pro players when you had the chance, but it kind of just made them a little bit more relatable in the way that they were watching the games with everybody else and stuff like that. And even though, like I said, I had a great time, I do have a few gripes for the event over the weekend. One of the things, and this is just a personal thing, not really a big deal, but parking for the venue was supposed to be open for those attending the event in a parking structure right across the street. $10 for the day. Not bad. I was actually willing to pay for that, and because I was only going to be using the parking structure for 1 or 2 days, it was not that big of a deal for me. Unfortunately, when I did get there, the parking structure was only allowing employees of I think it was another venue into that structure. I guess there was some sort of overflow of work going on that day, so they ended up having to tell people that they couldn't park there and they had to find parking on the street. And the street parking actually turned out to be good as well. I was able to find a few spots that were open for all day parking and only had to do street parking Friday and Sunday, so it wasn't terrible. And it kind of was lucky to be in the area that it was. The venue in which the area was, it was not very populated, and there was a residency in which the parking signs were very lenient on what times you could park there. So overall, bad that turned into a good. And going into the event, I did have some money to spend on things like anything really that was Halo. I was looking to spend it, buy a few shirts, maybe a hoodie, maybe a few lanyards, buy some stuff for people who wanted some stuff from there as well, for friends, family, stuff like that. And there was actually no merch booth at all for the event. So I was kind of disappointed there. Again, the venue wasn't huge, and I understand they might have not had enough room. But at the same time, maybe they could have found a way to fit a booth outside to both alleviate the amount of people inside the venue at one time, and also to be able to sell Halo apparel, which people were wanting to buy. But overall, like I said, it was a great experience. It was my first Halo event ever, and I had a blast watching every single series, and watching that much Halo was incredible to experience in person. I think that was one of the reasons why it was so great for me, is that I was there specifically for Halo. Anything that happened, I was there for Halo. I was there to experience a Halo event, be able to talk a little bit with the Halo pros, be able to interact with others who were there for Halo. And I know for the few complaints that I did have, it might sound like the event was not that great, but also thinking about the ticket price being $35 for all 3 days, that is more than justified in my eyes, as far as the experience that I got. At the end of the day, it's all about the experience that you had and if you were happy with it. And overall, I was extremely happy with it. And at the end of the event, spectators did end up getting a goodie bag with a decently sized Halo Mega Bloks toy, a few pins, and a Halo 5 lanyard. And once again, for $35 for the entire weekend, the price was more than justified. But that is pretty much it for me today, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me talking about the experience. And as always, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.